Hi there, everyone. Thank you for joining me wherever you may be in the world, whether you're in the US or the UK or wherever you may be. You're going to want to keep watching this because today I'm being joined by the infamous duo of Jim and Linda Nordstrom, founders of Famous Names Products. They're going to tell us all about the brand new innovative system that they have come up with. It's been 3 years in development and it will probably revolutionize your nail care. It'll be something that your clients will be hankering after and that you will definitely need for your nail treatment. So I'm going to invite them both in and they're going to tell you all about it. So bear with me. Let's see if we can get them through. There they are. Hi. Fresh from Vegas. We have the lovely Linda.
Hey, Helena, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
We are doing great, thank you. Can't complain.
Fantastic.
We're starting to get some really nice weather in Vegas. Slowly, the temperature's coming down, so that makes us all a little bit happy.
Oh, well, I mean, it's pouring with rain here as usual. So I don't know if we're always very jealous. So,
Okay.
but is Jim joining from?
Yeah.
He's there.
Yeah, I'm having trouble getting in, I guess. Usually there's a thing that pops down saying Scratch is live.
If you go onto our Instagram page, you can just click on our story button and you should be able to start viewing the live. And then I can invite you in.
Yeah, and my tag name is Jim Buffett 99.
Absolutely, I'm searching for Jim Buffett.
I'm on my way. I'm on my way back.
He's on his way. Fantastic. Oh, we're keeping these lovely viewers in suspense because we can't wait to talk about Aceso.
I know. You know, this has been a labor of love, especially for Jim, as you'll hear throughout this presentation. This has been a baby of Jim's from about 3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And the gentleman that Jim worked with on this is not from the beauty industry at all. He comes from a totally different world. But he and Jim have been friends for so long. This guy's a brainiac. And he had this idea. And he brought it to Jim, and Jim was like, well, I don't know, let's take a look at it. And for 3 years, these two guys worked their butts off. And you're seeing what Aceso's doing. And we've only been on, we launched it maybe 3 months ago, maybe 4 months ago. So it's still really new and you know, obviously still in the proving stages for a lot of us nail techs. And I will tell you, and that's why I love my UK friends, because you guys, the nail techs in the UK, you guys take everything so serious, which is it's heartwarming, you know, being a longtime nail tech myself. And so the really great results and the people that are taking the time to actually send us the results are the UK nail techs. So there's a couple of you, if you're listening, you know who I'm talking about, because they've just been so dedicated to making sure that Aceso works. Oh gosh, and now our gardeners just got here.
Well, Jim, there we go. We have Jim.
There we go. We have Jim.
Fantastic.
So it's been really a joy to work with, you know, nail techs, not only here in the US, but absolutely in the UK. And I'm excited because I'm going to be in the UK next month. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
And we get to see you in person and also the system, because I've just realized that I said it wrong. So how are we pronouncing the system?
You know what? It is called Aceso, and you'll see Jim it has a few different pronunciations. We've marketed it as Aceso, but Jim and Peter both say it a little bit differently, but you know, they're the inventors, so they can do whatever they want.
No,
right.
I call it Aceso, but Peter, he's a typical brainiac scientist, and he looked up the correct Greek pronunciation, and it's Aceso, according to him.
Oh, See, I was calling it ASO because it's ace. But you know what? I guess that's just across the Atlantic, different ways. But
Yeah,
like you said, there is a reason behind the name, isn't there?
yeah.
If for people that don't know, what's the meaning behind the name, however we may say it?
And that was something because, if anybody that knows Famous Names, are most of our products have a story behind them.
Mm-hmm.
And with Aceso, 3 years working on it, we just kept like, what can we call this that means something? And Jim, I believe we were in a meeting. It was you, me, Lisa, Peter, and Nikki. And I think Nikki was looking up Greek mythology or something. And so what Aceso means is it's the Greek goddess of recovery. So she's actually a Greek goddess.
Because for those that I guess may not be familiar with the brand, which I'm sure is very few, you've the names behind your other systems and products. They've got some very good meanings. I mean, IBX is an infamous system that I know so many people watching will already be using. What was the meaning behind that one?
Behind IBX?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Well, and Jim has been formulating products for 40 years, ever since he's been in beauty.
Hey, don't date me.
And Jim always has, like, when he's doing a project, he always has a code
Mm-hmm.
name. And believe me, he comes up with some doozies that we're like, where did you get that? But when he was working on IBX, he called IBX Iceberg. So for 3 years, because IBX was a 3-year project too. And so IBX was called Iceberg. And so then, of course, 3 years goes by and it's time to name it. And we're like, well, crumb, what are we going to name this? We've been calling it Iceberg. And so we went through and we just couldn't find something that made any sense. So the I stands for ice, the B stands for berg, and the X stands for 10 fingers or toes.
Love that.
And we were like, voila, we finally found, because we went over, it was well over 200 names, and we knew we had a winner, kind of like with Aceso. We knew we had a winner, so we knew the name would be important for people to recall the product. And it was actually Lisa Hamilton, our partner, who came up with the name, and everybody went, that's it. We're done.
Job
Get
done.
it trademarked. Yeah.
I mean, IBX has made such a mark on the nail industry for its strengthening properties. And you've also got the Dadi'Oil range, which I know had a very cute meaning, because was it your daughter that coined it?
Yep.
Tell us that story.
Yep. So Dadi'Oil, when Nikki, our oldest daughter, when she was about 5 years old, everybody here knows that Jim, was one of the original co-founders of C&D, Creative Nail Design. When Jim got out of college, the second year of that Creative Nail C&D was in business, Jim's dad came to him and said, okay, you're making your first product. I want you to make us an oil. And Jim was like, all excited. Now he's a young kid out of college making his first professional product. And so Jim formulated solar oil, and that was back in 1980. And in our home, when our kids were growing up, of course, we had solar oil everywhere, which it's now been replaced, of course, with Dadi'Oil. But when Nikki was about 5 years old, she found out that her dad was the one that made solar oil. So from that day forward, Nikki always called solar oil Daddy's oil, Daddy. So when Jim was formulating Dadi'Oil, which was an 18-month project, believe it or not, he called that project Daddy. So we called it Daddy from the very beginning. So of course, when it came time to name it, it was just obvious. And what we did was we just changed the spelling. So
Incredible. I mean, Famous Names has such a wonderful portfolio of products, and it was always your goal, wasn't it? When I think it was 2010, you created Famous Names, and it's always been your goal to support industry professionals with exceptional nail care products, with the focus being on care. And this 3 years in development system, Sweet Squares UK distributor kindly sent me the system itself.
nice.
Awesome.
This is your latest innovation. So let's go back to basics. What does it do?
So if I can, Linda, I'll let you take the lead, but if I could just preface by saying, you know, it's interesting because we don't come out with a product unless we're excited about it. But honestly, with Aceso, it's almost a parallel duplicate path to the path IBX started out on. I mean, it's feeling like IBX all over again. So we're really, really excited at the potential. We know we've got a tiger by the tail, so to speak.
Amazing.
Yeah. And it was totally something, you know, when Jim brought and Peter brought this to me, you know, being a nail tech, I was like, yeah, okay. You know, I mean, because I'm thinking, you know, how can we actually penetrate something through the nail plate into the nail bed and help with some of these symptoms that we were seeing happening in our salons. And, you know, of course, Jim always formulates everything. I'm the first person that starts to test it. And when I started testing it, I was like, oh my God, these guys are right. This is working. But so what Aceso is a salon solution that is formulated to help with the symptoms of some nail conditions. And you guys, everybody knows what we deal with in the salon. You know, sometimes we might have, you know, hyperkeratosis, onycholysis, those kind of things. And along with those nail conditions come symptoms, you know, like a nail plate turning green, like, you know, getting the smells, like so on and so on. So what Aceso does is it works on the systems. Now, it doesn't change the condition itself, but it does work on those symptoms. And the amazing thing is that we're using bioactive ingredients, all natural. So it's really kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. You know, when we live in a chemical world with what we do as nail professionals, and this Aceso being able to work with all these natural ingredients and actually make some major differences for our salons. And I know that there's a lot of girls in here that are using it. There's Claire, and have seen it with their own eyes, exactly what it's doing. So
absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, to add to that, so if I look at the core of Aceso, the Aceso system, the two natural bioactives that are really the workhorses of the system are called beta-caryophyllene, which is clove extract. So we're using natural clove extract. And wow, got all kinds of stuff. Dogs, gardeners.
Keeps it real, Jim. It keeps it real.
I know, just another day. But anyway, so clove extract and then tea tree oil. And those two actives are very effective on bacteria and fungus. And so when you get a nail condition, you know, like Linda had with her thumb, typically when you get a fungus, there's also bacteria in there. So that's why we kind of did the double barrel shotgun and addressed both of those. So, and we proved it before we designed the system. We had to say, okay, do we have something that will actually work? So we did an independent lab study, and sorry, these of course are right under my window, but anyway, so we did an independent study. We selected the trichophyton fungal molecule because it's responsible for 95% of nail funguses. And we had a 99.9% kill rate within an hour.
Wow.
So yeah, so that was like, we had our proof. Okay, we've got the actives. We have the actives that we know work. Now, the big challenge, and this is where Peter came in, because he is truly a brilliant scientist. It was, how do we deliver those bioactives to the nail bed? Because the nail bed is where almost all of the negative conditions reside. It's not in the nail plate. And so he designed this carrier molecule that is very, very water loving. Hydrophilic is the science name for it. And we were able to embed the bioactives inside this molecule. And when you soak the fingernails or toenails 3 to 5 minutes, the nail actually absorbs about 30% by weight water. So it's very absorbent of water. So when you apply Aceso to the nail plate, it literally just draws through the water in the nail down to the nail bed where the bioactives are deposited. It's almost like a miracle, you know, when you when you use it, you can see when you put the drop on a wet nail, it just kind of goes whoosh and it disappears.
The nail plate, we turn the nail plate into like a sponge, and that sponge, it takes everything down through, which was really kind of brilliant. You know, as we all know, IBX works on top of the nail plate, you know, to give that nail plate strength, flexibility, help with damage, where Aceso does absolutely nothing for the nail plate, does all of its work in the nail bed. So for our clients that have been dealing with, you know, these things, you know, and most of these gals that have taken my class, our classes, have heard all of this before, but everybody that we used as major testers for Aceso had been going to a doctor's up to 20 years and not getting any, you know, getting a little bit of help, but never making it so that they could go with flip-flops, say with you know, in the summertime, because their toes were so bad. And when we saw what Aceso did, we were like, oh my goodness, this is great. And I ended up being one of the major testers. This thumb right here, which is a long story, but all of the pictures that you see, the first nail is this thumb. And I ripped that all the way down to here. Of course, you know, I had everything going on underneath there, green, brown, smell, all that stuff. So I was the original. And for me, it kind of socked it in, because within 7 to 8 days, I could actually see that fungus disappearing. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. And so I was like, okay, I'm all in. That's it.
It's revolutionary. I know you sent me some pictures. Unfortunately, Instagram doesn't have a capability on a live to share them. However, I have got them on my computer screen, so I'm just going to see. There we go.
Oh, nice.
My thumb.
Yeah.
That's this thumb right here.
Wow.
That one right there on top. That was me.
That's amazing. And I'm just going to scroll through a few of the before and afters. After 5 months, after one application, seeing those differences. And I'm sure that many people watching these nail types, these nail issues or skincare issues may be very familiar to many people watching today. But those before and afters are quite exceptional.
And when you think about it, when you look at those pictures, to me, what was impressive is we're using all natural ingredients. We're not using anything, you know, anything. It's all natural. So it's really, really exciting. It's really exciting. And our classes have been so busy. And for the girls, a lot of you have been in the classes, but you know, Jim and Peter, I'm teaching them, and Jim and Peter are always in the chat room to answer more in-depth questions that somebody might have. So you know, we're just really excited about it, and we both love teaching it together. So it's exciting.
Yeah, and then I'll just add very quickly. So there's 2 steps to the system, and step 1 is thank you very much, Vanna White. But the step 1 is for the nail bed. So that's the one you would apply to the wet nail plate and or directly under the nail if the nail is that bad. And then the step 2 is designed to go on the soft tissue around the nail plate. So you would apply it all the way around the soft tissue. And what it does is it forms a dermal film. It really mimics your skin, and it has the bioactives, and it emits them into the soft tissue throughout the day. So you're getting double action, because when you have a lot of these conditions, you think it's just the nail bed, but it's also the soft tissue surrounding. So we take a dual action approach to make sure we get rid of all the bad actors.
Incredible. And I know that so you've got the sort of professional system itself that starts with the kickstart soak, which you mentioned earlier. So that's what you begin with, and then you go on to the system itself. And you've also got a product called Debrider. What does this do?
Linda, I'll let you take the lead on that, and then I'll embellish.
The debrider is something that we use once we have gotten those symptoms under control. Like if you looked at my nail, once that bacteria, that fungus was killed and done, what happens is the nail bed gets a little dried out and has all kinds of debris in there. And what the debrider does, once we have the bacteria killed, we use the debrider to clean out, to flush out any debris, any leftover bacteria, anything that's underneath the nail plate. Because when we have a nail that maybe has been separated from the nail bed, maybe hyperkeratosis, which is grown up real thick, most of the nail beds have been totally trashed. They're dried out. And what we want to do, what the debrider's main job to do, is now to get the nail bed in great shape. So as new nail plate is growing out, it has a great palette to sit on. Because sometimes when we do have onycholysis, and we try to let the nail grow out naturally, sometimes it never grows out on that skin because that skin has all this stuff in there. So the debrider comes in as our last step to flush out, to clean out anything underneath that nail plate and prepare the nail bed for that new nail growth.
Yeah, and what I would add to that is that dead tissue is a big irritant to the nail bed. Mm-hmm. So the faster we can get rid of it, the faster we can flush it out, the faster the new nail plate growth will grow out fully attached. Whereas if you don't get rid of that, then it may or may not grow out attached. It may grow out detached because of all that inflammation and irritation. Yeah.
Incredible. And in terms of the practicalities of introducing this system into the salon environment, how can our nail professionals market it or make sure that they're using it on the right kind of clients?
Well, first of all, for marketing, we've done some great marketing tools. So this right here is our three-sided table tent card. And we're giving these away. We're not charging for them. But this is the number one thing to do, because we have all of the people that were our initial testers, their before and afters. So to market it is pretty simple. You put this out in your salon. And 9 times out of 10, what we found is people are like, you can't fix that. My mother's had this for years. So it's a good way for people to see it without us actually having to sell them on a product. They can actually see it by putting that. We've also come out with a beautiful brochures, and these, nothing has prices in it. So it's easy to be able to hand these out, put them out in your waiting room. So that's the perfect way to market it. One of the things, we know that we've gotten great results on hyperkeratosis, onycholysis, which onycholysis is probably, I would probably say, one of the number one nail conditions that we deal with in the salon all over the world, not just the US or the UK. And we all know when that happens to our client, we freak out. We look at it and say, holy smokes, what's going on? What are we doing? And we also know that most of these people that go through this, they do go to the doctors, and the doctor tells them, yep, you have a fungus under there, and this is what we can do. And 9 times out of 10, we found, especially with every one of these people, they had all been to doctors, and finally their doctor's last resort was to remove the nail plate. And then let's see what happens. That doesn't always mean that that nail is going to grow back and attach properly anyway when you remove a nail plate. So how do we decide is by listening to our customer. You know, and you're going to probably find, in a lot of these gals that I know have taken our classes have told me that their clients have been to the doctor, and the doctor has told them that it's fungus, and you know, this is about as much as we can do. And I tell people in my classes all the time, if you have a nail that you look at and you're not sure, you know, some people, is it Aceso that we use or is it IBX? Send me a picture of it. And you know what? Jim and Peter get inundated, because when somebody sends me a picture and I look at it and say, gosh, I'm not really sure, I send it right to Jim and to Peter. And they're the ones that look at it and assess and say if they think that Aceso is going to help. So we try and do as much as we can to be able to support the nail professional, which is basically what my job is with Famous Names. And that's the part of my job that I really like. There's other parts of my job I don't like, sitting at a desk all day, but I do love the interaction that I'm able to have with nail techs. So we've found that we've really helped a lot of people by them sharing what they're dealing with us, and we can give them a professional, you know, opinion if, you know, they need to, no, don't touch it, go to the doctor, or if we think Aceso might be something that'll help them.
Yeah, and I would say, I mean, to me, the very best way to market it is to show before and afters, because people, the pictures say it all. And it reminds me when we were going through the beginning stages of field testing, and like Linda said, she was our very first. I would take pictures like every few days, and I remember showing our doctor, who's an internist, so he deals with, you know, a lot of this type of stuff, and he said, "Whoa," he said, "this is exciting," because he said, "I have so many patients that come in, and I feel like there's nothing I can do for them." He said, "Out of guilt, I might prescribe something. None of them work. They're all expensive." So he was like, you have something here.
But what an incredible point to know, in that this is something that if a nail professional is offering this in their area, making their local doctors aware of it and just showing them the pictures, explaining how it works, or showing them your literature, and just being like, look, if you get these problems, send them to me. I'll know exactly what to do and how to support it.
And that's what our doctor
Absolutely.
said. He said, you know, you let me know that the salons that are doing Aceso that are near me, I'll send my patients to them. So, you know, that was a really, really great endorsement.
Yeah, what a point of difference as well for a salon. But also these kind of nail issues are going to be rife. I think it's doubtful that any nail tech hasn't come across any of these issues. So to be offering it is such a coup to a nail professional's salon menu and their repertoire.
Right.
But on that note, I'm going to, while I ask this next question, I'm going to put the spotlight back on the before and after, so we get as much of those as possible. But is there any training involved in learning about this system?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, one of the things with Famous Names is we are very educational backed. And as of right now, just Famous Names, not even talking about the education suite Squared's doing with IBX and Aceso and Relief. But yeah, I've been doing 2 certification Aceso classes per month, as we do certifications with IBX and with Relief. And all it does is, you know, any time for us in our fabulous industry that you can get education, the products that you're using, and you can learn about them from the inside out, is going to do nothing but make you be more successful in what you're doing. And so while do you have to take an Aceso class to be able to use Aceso? It's very simple to use. No, you don't have to, but when they're offered to you, not only with me online monthly, Sweet Squared is going to be doing classes in different places. There's no reason not to learn more about the products that you're using.
Yeah, yeah. It's a good question, and my short answer to it is absolutely take the class. I just saw someone say the classes are jam-packed with information, and they are. And what we do after every class, and so far Peter and I have sat in on all the classes. We make notes of the questions asked, and if there was something we didn't think of before that gets asked, it's immediately integrated into the format. So the format is like a live thing, and it just keeps getting more complete and better with each passing class. So it's too good of a class not to take it.
Absolutely. And I can vouch, I know that Jim and Linda are very hands-on with providing information, and it's so nice to have that communication. But also your UK and Ireland distributor, Sweet Squared, we've got Samantha Sweet watching now, and Sweet Squared has won some awards with us for their customer service, so, and for their education and training. So it's definitely worthwhile checking out their website if you're a nail professional in the UK or Ireland, and finding out about the classes and about the products from there. A lot of people ask about stockists. I've pinned the post. Sweetsquared.com is for the UK and Ireland, but I'm assuming, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that if they head to your website, Famous Names, the main website for the brand, they can find their local distributor from there.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
And I just want to talk, obviously, when a nail professional introduces this system, Aceso, I think I'm saying it right. I'm learning into their salon and onto their treatment menu. Obviously, no nail care journey is a quick nail care journey. Consistency is key, right? And from the before and afters, obviously, depending on the condition of the nail or the requirements involved, it could be 1 week where you see changes and differences, or it could be up to 8 months depending on the severity of the need. So it's making sure that your client maintains those appointments and stressing and showing the before and afters and showing that's what your nail will look like by the end of this journey. We can't put an exact time on it, but also there's something to help them on their journey at home, isn't there? There's the client kit.
And that's the key to success. This is not only just for our nail techs. Our clients have to take this home. They have to use it daily. We want it to start out in the salon. We want the nail professional to follow their journey, because like you said, some are going to see immediate results, some are going to be weeks, some are going to be months, depending on the severity. But the whole key is that they understand how to use this. As simple as it is, we know what our clients are. Sometimes you have to teach them how to use their oil. So that's what this is. This starts out in the salon. We, as the nail professional, do their first treatment. We show them how to do it. And then even if they're a pedicure client, they probably don't come back into the salon for another 4 or 5 weeks. But what we've been teaching is we stay in touch with our customer, because we've sold them this kit. They've paid for it. And it's not, but we don't want this to be sitting on a shelf and somebody just to buy it and walk out. This has to go through the nail professional if everybody involved is going to have success. So it's still, even though it's a retail item, it's still controlled by the nail professional.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. It's a partnership between the nail professional and their client. And the other part of that, because with the hyperkeratosis case we had, it like you pointed out, it took about 8 months. But I really feel like if he's a personal friend of ours, and if he had been going to a salon on a regular, semi-regular, whatever, as needed basis, I think we could have solved that case in like half the time.
I agree.
So it really points out the importance of the nail professional being actively involved, having the client send you pictures every 2 weeks and saying, okay, you need to come in, we need to shorten the nail, we need to thin the nail out, depending on the condition. And that will accelerate the progress of Aceso.
Yep.
solving the problem.
Well said.
Absolutely. It really is that goddess of recovery. And as Claire has said, it's the client's new best friend.
Yep.
So
Yeah, right. I like that. I have to write that one down.
that's a new marketing tag. Thank you for that, Claire. But just on the line of marketing, just expanding on that, you were saying earlier, it's like the best way to market it to your clients. Is to show them the before and after pictures, and that's the beauty of social media, in that
Yep.
if followers and prospective followers can see a recovery journey,
Yep.
they can see that realness on your salon account or your business account, then they're going to be like, well, wow, this really works, and I'm going to book into that. If they can, and all you need to do is ask your client for permission. You don't have to tag them in it if they're not comfortable.
Right, right.
It's all about just taking the photos, ask them for their permission to put the photos on the feed, and showing those recovery journeys. And I think it speaks for itself, really, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, completely.
Absolutely. And I think we've got a few people joining from further afield than the UK and Ireland. So in terms of its availability in other countries, where is this system available to purchase at the moment? And have you got any new areas that it will be available in soon?
Yeah, so obviously the US, we've got that pretty well covered. And then the UK and Ireland, and I just like to re-emphasize what a total, I know I'm a partner with them, but I have my famous names hat on right now.
And Samantha's watching.
Yeah,
Jim,
I know. But they are a breath of fresh air to work with as a distributor. I mean, the support, the partnership, the enthusiasm, it's very rare in our industry, and it's been a real pleasure getting them launched. So obviously UK, Ireland, the Netherlands, I saw someone from the Netherlands asking earlier, and they'll be launching in the next month. So we just had a really great training session with them last week. And so it'll be available in the Netherlands. It's in Greece. It will be, and it's Lithuania, right, Monique, Simona?
Lithuania, Martina, Czech Republic.
Czech Republic, yeah.
Has it. Ukraine has it. Australia, Canada. I think Norway's coming up on it. Let's see here.
And then we will be launching Italy and Spain in the next, I'd say, 3 months.
Yeah.
So it's gradually getting out there, and it's going to take over the world. I just know it.
Definitely. Beautiful nails all across the globe. There's another tagline.
Global domination.
Slovenia also, Nikki said.
Brilliant, Slovenia. Thank you so much. Well, just to punctuate, because we're getting a few more comments now. This will be saved to our Instagram. If people are only just joining and are worried that they've missed all the amazing information that Jim and Linda have given out, you can watch it back via our Instagram feed. So please do not worry about that. But just to kind of wrap up, Linda, you said you were coming to the UK next month. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, it's quite a trip. Jim mentioned we are just opening a new nice distributor in Italy. So I'll be in Italy for a bit doing all kinds of education. And then I get to come to my lovely Sweet Squared and spend some time. And I think what we have planned there, Samantha and her team, I'm going to be working with the educators one day, and then the marketing, customer service another day. So it'll be 2 different kinds of training. When somebody calls into someplace like Sweet Squared or Famous Names, we want to make sure that whoever's answering the telephones, whoever's answering questions, has a good background of what the products are.
Yeah.
So that's pretty exciting. And then from there, I go to the Netherlands, to further, I don't know how much more education I need to give Tracy, but we give her as much support as we can.
Brilliant. Oh, it sounds amazing. Well, Aceso taking over. Thank you so much for creating this product, this system, which is fantastic, and it's going to, so many people lose confidence when they you know, suffer from lifting, or they suffer from or their nails just aren't in a good paintable condition. It's such a it's so detrimental to people's confidence when they suffer like that. So to have a system like that that really works, you know, from the nail bed, in the nail bed, to aid recovery,
Yeah.
and help that beautiful natural nail care journey is just, you know, fantastic to have. And yeah, it's, I mean, you can find out all about it via the Famous Names website, or if you wish to purchase and find out more about it, if you're in the UK and Ireland, sweetsquared.com is the answer. But I've just got to say thank you for creating it, and thank you for telling us all about it today.
Awesome. Hey, and I just want to tell you, like, thank you to you and Scratch, because I mean, you guys really do help build the industry. So you're doing a great service. So thank you for what you guys do as
Thanks,
well.
Jim.
Yeah, definitely. From the
Really
heart.
appreciate it. Well, we're looking forward to seeing lots of beautiful nails cropping up, and before and after pictures from our
Absolutely.
watchers today. And yeah, thank you again, and we will catch up with you both very soon.
Great.
You got it. Thank you so
Take care.
much.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.